Hey guys, time for Tech News Day.
Last week on this show, we covered the fact that Facebook had found itself in some hot water with users and legislators in the US and the UK over its connection to Cambridge Analytica, a political marketing firm who'd worked for the Trump campaign, who had been able to easily harvest the Facebook profiles of at least 50 million people in ways that most Facebook users had naively assumed were impossible. Cambridge Analytica had simply hired a guy to create a personality test app that connects to people's Facebook profiles and managed to not just harvest the data of the 270,000 people who took the test, but nearly all their friends, despite those people never consenting to any such thing.
Making things worse, Facebook clearly knew such a thing was possible, but even when faced with proof that this is exactly what was happening, they just asked Cambridge Analytica to pinky promise that they'd delete the data. And the UK's Channel 4 did a great job showing just how terrible and evil Cambridge Analytica is through a series of undercover hidden camera videos in which Cambridge Analytica executives described secretly helping to win elections all over the world using tactics like soliciting bribes and using Ukrainian prostitutes to blackmail candidates.
Now, since the biggest initial news dropped, Facebook has experienced a truly terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week. And this is a company whose reputation was already in the shitter thanks to their complete failure to stop foreign money from being spent on US election ads on their platform. Here's the cover of the March issue of Wired magazine published weeks before this latest shitstorm. So Mark, I'm starting to think you might not ever be able to run for president.
I'm sure he's coming to that realization himself. Anyways, let's run down what happened in the week since we first covered this story, starting with Elon Musk seizing on the perfect opportunity to dunk on his rival Mark Zuckerberg. Last Wednesday, Musk replied to a tweet featuring the hashtag #DeleteFacebook with "What's Facebook?" Another user replied to that with "Delete SpaceX page on Facebook if you're the man." To which Musk replied, "I didn't realize there was one. Will do." Someone else replied pointing out that he should probably delete the Tesla Facebook page as well, with Musk replying, "Definitely. Looks lame anyway." It's an ugly website.
It is. And sure enough, poof, those Facebook pages were gone, along with probably at least one social media intern's job. Musk did, however, draw the line at Instagram, tweeting, "Instagram's probably okay in my opinion, so long as it stays fairly independent. I don't use Facebook and never have, so don't think I'm some kind of martyr or my companies are taking a huge blow. Also, we don't advertise or pay for endorsements, so I don't care." Social media may have created a monster here, but hey, at least we get to see billionaires being super petty to each other publicly. So it's a little silver lining.
Yeah, they also changed the graphic on the opening of Silicon Valley.
Yeah, they did. It flickered in Russian for a second.
So the next day, which was Thursday, Tim Cook seized upon his own opportunity to criticize Mark Zuckerberg's current situation, though without mentioning any names. At an event in Beijing, Cook said this: "I think that this certain situation is so dire and has become so large that probably some well-crafted regulation is necessary. The ability of anyone to know what you've been browsing about for years, who your contacts are, who their contacts are, things you like and dislike, and every intimate detail of your life, from my own point of view, it shouldn't exist. We've worried for a number of years that people in many countries were giving up data, probably without knowing fully what they were doing, and that these detailed profiles that were being built of them, that one day something would occur and people would be incredibly offended by what had been done without them being aware of it. Unfortunately, that prediction has come true more than once."
I'm just so disappointed. Mickey, tell me it's gonna be okay.
It's not gonna be okay, Tim.
While that was going on, over in New Zealand, a man named Dylan McKay was going through the steps of deleting his Facebook account. He downloaded a .zip archive of all his Facebook data, which is something Facebook actually offers if you know where to look. So he decided to open that archive up and have a little peek at it, and he discovered that Facebook had apparently been logging years worth of phone call metadata, basically his entire phone call history, including the numbers he'd called, the dates of those phone calls, and the durations.
And a bunch of other people decided to look into it and found that they too had mountains of phone call metadata stored in their Facebook data. This apparently only occurred for Android users and was all thanks to a default installation setting in Facebook for Android that people didn't look at or think anything about because everyone's too damn trusting. Facebook claims this was done simply to suggest possible friends based on your phone contacts and that this data was kept secure and never sold. But that doesn't really explain why this information would be stored in such detail in the first place. I saw people talking about how they would like sell something on Craigslist and then they would like recognize the face of someone that they met out in public to like sell a PS4 to. They're like, that's fucking weird. I remember when I was working at doing some stuff at a gym, and I got a personal trainer for like a month, and he showed up in my suggested contacts, and I had we had no friends,
text messages,
and it was based off text and phone calls.
That's how they got you.
Yeah.
You just need to have a separate Facebook phone.
You need a burner phone.
You need a burner phone for Facebook. Yeah. So the next day, on Friday, Facebook and Cambridge Analytica were sued by Cook County, Illinois.
Cook County.
That's it's the county where Chicago is.
Yeah.
They were sued for violating Illinois fraud regulations, with their lawyers writing in their complaint. This kind of mass data collection was not only allowed, but encouraged by Facebook, which sought to keep developers building on its platform and provide companies with all the tools they need to influence and manipulate user behavior. That's because Facebook is not a social media company. It is the largest data mining operation in existence.
Nice.
Cook County is the first public entity to sue over the current scandal, but there's also currently around 14 other lawsuits that have been filed by private citizens and by Facebook's own shareholders, all for similar reasons.
Over in the UK on Friday, law enforcement was granted a warrant and raided the offices of Cambridge Analytica, spending 7 hours digging around in there for clues and evidence of wrongdoing, specifically violations of UK privacy laws. They haven't announced their findings, but it's worth noting that this raid came 4 whole days after the UK Information Commissioner Office announced their intention to search Cambridge Analytica's offices, giving them plenty of time to tidy things up. There is a picture that is floating around where they're just wheeling out buckets and buckets
No,
of
this
files.
is just trash. It's trash day. We
Gotta throw it
got
away.
so much trash to incinerate.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Cambridge Analytica's acting CEO Alexander Taylor issued a statement saying, "I am sorry that in 2014 SCL Elections licensed Facebook data from a research company that had not received consent from respondents. The company believed the data had been obtained in line with Facebook's terms of service and data protection laws. Oops!" Now keep in mind that Christopher Wylie, the Canadian whistleblower and former employee who broke the story to journalists, he claims that Cambridge Analytica didn't just license data from some research company, but rather paid a researcher millions of dollars to create an app specifically to harvest data for them. And this seems to be a detail that, if proven true, could spell serious trouble for them in UK courts.
And the UK has that, it's a fairly new law, but it's the right to delete or right to forget
A lot
law.
of Europe does, yeah.
Yeah, where you can like after a certain amount of time, you can request any private information, photos or anything to be just deleted from their servers.
Yeah.
So this will be an interesting kind of thing to see how it plays out as far as Facebook's concerned, because they certainly haven't been doing that. Anyway, on Sunday, human being Mark Zuckerberg took a break from disrupting old media to place a full-page ad in the New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, and 6 UK newspapers. The ads consisted entirely of text and read, "We have a responsibility to protect your information. If we can't, we don't deserve it." You may have heard about a quiz app built by a university researcher that leaked Facebook data of millions of people in 2014. This was a breach of trust, and I am sorry we didn't do more at the time. We're now taking steps to make sure this doesn't happen again. We've already stopped apps like this from getting so much information. Now we're limiting the data apps get when you sign in using Facebook. We're also investigating every single app that had access to large amounts of data before we fixed this. We expect there are others. Yeah. And when we find them, we will ban them and tell everyone affected. Finally, we'll remind you which apps you've given access to your information so you can shut off the ones you don't want anymore. Thank you for believing in this community. I promise to do better for you, Mark Zuckerberg.
Future President Mark Zuckerberg.
I don't think anyone was like gung-ho about being part of a Facebook community. They just wanted to connect with their family and friends and share pictures.
Yeah. My math class said I had to join Facebook to
It's
join
not like
the group.
No one's waving Facebook pennants. I love Facebook.
I don't know, if you go on Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook page and you click on his profile pictures and look at the comments on it, he has fans, mostly in India. They're like, "Mark, look at this picture I drew of you.
There's free data.
Tell me where to send it."
Yeah.
Anyway, the next day, Monday, the Federal Trade Commission announced it's officially investigating Facebook over potential privacy violations. Now, there is speculation that this investigation also includes looking into whether Facebook violated a consent decree that they signed with the FTC back in 2011, which requires Facebook to notify users and receive explicit permission before sharing personal data beyond a user's specified privacy settings, which sounds like exactly what they did here. And hey, they probably did, but then again, most people on Facebook never bother to even look at their privacy settings, much less think about what they actually mean.
South Park did it years ago. They did the whole thing about you're just like, fuck, I can't read this.
Whatever.
And it's true. It's true. Like, no human can possibly read the terms and conditions for every app they sign up
Also,
for.
it's all written in legalese.
Yeah.
Like,
It needs to be simplified.
yeah.
It needs to be able to be understood by the layman. There ought to be a law. And with all this happening, there might be. So anyways, meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg has been requested to appear before Congress in the coming weeks to be questioned about all this and is expected to actually show up, which he's refused to do for the British Parliament, probably because they just mock you when you show up if you've done something wrong. It's our British wit, and we'll use it in force. Anyways, he turned down their request to attend a hearing in person or even via video chat. Chris Wylie, the former Cambridge Analytica employee and whistleblower, did appear before a UK Parliament Select Committee on Tuesday, where he said that 50 million was simply the number of compromised profiles that the media felt comfortable reporting, and that he believed the number to be much higher.
Oh, good.
He also said that while working at Cambridge Analytica, he'd heard that his predecessor in his position had been murdered by poison while on assignment with an election campaign in Kenya. So, yikes.
I don't know, it's just something I heard around the water cooler.
Yeah. Well,
Locker room talk.
he probably knew this was coming out and was like, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I'm going to get out in front of this.
Yeah, although London, probably not the safest place to be if you're looking to not get poisoned. Anyway, as of Wednesday, Facebook has issued an update to its mobile app, allowing users to more easily access their privacy settings and see what the hell they're actually sharing with Facebook, which is something that should not have required an international scandal to implement.
Yeah.
They've also created their own version of a bug bounty where they're offering money to users who find and report apps which abuse users' information. There's also a report out of Bloomberg claiming that Facebook had been planning on unveiling their own home speaker just in a few weeks to compete with the Amazon Echo and Google Home, but have decided to put that project on hold because trying to sell people a listening device for their home that's always on and is tied to a Facebook account would probably be a tough sell given all we've learned recently.
I agree. Regardless of how many changes Facebook makes to its privacy settings and what kind of information it gives third-party access to, this shit is like Pandora's box. It's out there, it's not getting put back in, and according to multiple articles from the past week, Cambridge Analytica's trove of data is just one of many sitting on servers for marketing firms or even intentionally stupid games like Cow Clicker or something.
Yeah, the Cow Clicker guy wrote an article, he's like, I made an app just as a joke, and I have a computer with just every person who ever used its entire profiles.
Yeah, it's scary. Anyways, Cambridge Analytica is in trouble because of how they acquired it and how they used it, but their tactics were an open secret among app developers and online marketers for years. The jig is up.
Yeah.
I wonder how much info BuzzFeed has on your mom. Yep.
They know she fucks. Also, remember last week, as we told you how before they allegedly, almost certainly, hired a researcher specifically to create a personality quiz for the purpose of data mining, they had approached Cambridge University's psychometrics department to see if they could buy the data from their existing Facebook personality test. Well, they refused, but that test is still up on the internet over at applymagicsauce.com. Fun.
A reputable URL.
And it still offers a connect with Facebook option to discover what your likes and posts say about you. They say they no longer store the information they gather, but there's nothing stopping 1,000 similarly harmless looking apps from using that data however they damn please.
Yeah. But anyways, it's time to let you know that this week's episode is sponsored by Google, who is asking us to read the following. Looking to move to the cloud? Don't know where to begin? Check out the Google Cloud Platform weekly podcast where Google developer advocates Melanie Warwick and Mark Mandel answer questions, get in the weeds, and talk to Google Cloud Platform teams, customers, and partners about best practices from security to machine learning and more. Hear from technologists all across Google about trends and cool things happening with their technology. Click the link down in the description below or go to g.co/GCP podcast to learn more and subscribe to that podcast.
All right, well, yeah.
It's just a podcast.
It's just a podcast. Now it's time to get Phil Arrigo back in here to make his return to the show with a rant that's hopefully not about Facebook, because I'm really fucking tired about talking about Facebook, hearing about Facebook. I wish I could just delete Facebook from my consciousness right now.
All right, so I won't talk about Facebook. I'll talk about another website which could not be used for evil under any circumstances. Craigslist. Craigslist just got a whole lot more useless because if you use the personal section to meet people or pay strangers to bang, you gotta find a new place to hang out. Because Congress passed the Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers Act with a 97-2 vote, pretty lopsided, essentially holding sites accountable for hosting content related to sex trafficking. So today, if you fire up Internet Explorer, you go to Bing, and you mosey on over to Craigslist Personals ad, you read with this message, which is not going to have sex with you no matter how much money you pay it.
How many roses?
One. Okay, I have just one rose. I want to do a Bachelor cosplay. Role play, sorry. Doing too much comic stuff. U.S. Congress just passed H.R. 1865, FOSTA, seeking to subject websites to criminal and civil liability when third parties, users, that's you, misuse online personals unlawfully. Any tool or service can be misused. We can't take such risk without jeopardizing all our other services, so we are regretfully taking Craigslist Personals offline. Hopefully, we can bring them back someday. To the millions of spouses, partners, and couples who met through Craigslist, we wish you every happiness. Okay, just bullshit detector going off the charts. Really? Like, how many couples? I'm crazy. It fucking blows my mind when someone's like, we met on Match, we met on Plenty of Fish. Where'd you meet? Craigslist? You're fucking lying.
It's the opening lines at their wedding.
Yeah.
How we met on Craigslist.
I was looking for a shitty office chair that was free, and I found you. Thanks, Deborah. Now take.
See, we were both desperate.
I'm desperate.
We were both at rock bottom, and we climbed out together.
Yeah, so my analysis here is that while this law has the best of intentions, to prevent sex trafficking, which is a very real thing that is very terrible and disgusting and inhumane, banning all personals throws out any legitimate use of the service along with the illegal ones. And again, some of them might be sex, some of them might be, just meeting buds and hanging out,
I just want to look at your feet. Meeting butts.
No, but Elliot Dewberry feet, just Google that. But really, it's two birds with one stone. I mean, how do you, yes, you the person watching this, feel about other people paying for sex? Is it morally wrong because of your religious beliefs or the Bible? Or is it one of those things that's cool when other people do it? Or maybe you have a bunch of cool stories? Basically, that's how you feel is how you should feel about this bill. So, to be honest, it's probably not going to be the knockout blow to sex trafficking that some people hope it will be, because sex trafficking existed before Craigslist, and the scumballs who sell other humans for sex against their will probably are gonna get creative and find another way to do it. But if you just use Craigslist for other things, you're in the clear. So let's get some free stuff and kind of cleanse the palate. Here's a free chair. It looks used, not gently used, like hard used. And is that a mystery stain on the cushion? That is a free caliber.
I consider that
stain.
sex trafficking, Phil.
I feel like if you scrape this off and put it under a fucking microscope, there might be some
Assault and murder.
Let's see what else that's cool on here. Oh, don't forget misconnections like this gem. The one with the pregnancy test in Boyle Heights. Are you the one who picked up the pregnancy test and brought it to me? I don't know. That was me. In addition to that, bringing you a pregnancy test, I'm bringing you a rap fact at the end of this. But let's take it back to Facebook. Because
no!
Yeah, you can. If you go to facebook.com/dankfireshow, we just put a new sketch out every Tuesday. And check this out. These two hypocrites are gonna be in a sketch next week. Dank Fire Show. Facebook.com/dankfireshow.
We filmed that before all the
Yeah, right. You knew all about it. And you're like, we can't wait to be in this. So we
you were tied in with the Russians, Phil.
We shot 3 episodes with Ricky and Elliot, and those are going to be dispersed out over the next coming weeks. So I will say this: someone asked on the morning show if you want to watch the sketches, but you don't want to be on Facebook, you can just go to facebook.com/dankfireshow when you're in incognito mode. You don't even have to have a fucking account. You can watch it and then log off and go, I'm going to go back to Craigslist and get some free stuff. And that's a rap fact. Free.
Or you can just call someone that has Facebook, and Facebook will just send
Hey,
you the video.
mom, get off BuzzFeed. I know you fuck.
All right, thanks, Phil. Anyways, let's run through all the other tech bullshit from this past week, starting with that incident in Arizona where an Uber self-driving car being tested there hit and killed a pedestrian. As the actual dash cam footage of the crash was released by local police, and with this footage, it's a bit easier to understand how this could have happened. We're not going to show it because it's literally footage of a woman being hit by a car and she ended up dying, but the crash occurred in the dark of night with the victim casually crossing what's essentially a highway in a section of road completely unlit by street lamps while wearing dark clothing, although locals have gone to that exact point at the exact part of the night, and that footage is either a really bad camera or very inaccurate.
Oh, really?
Because the road she was not crossing in a crosswalk. It was a 2 or 3 lane wide major road. There are street lamps, and it is pretty fucking decently lit.
But she was between lamps.
Well, a lot of sides to this story.
Yeah.
The footage shows as if it's in the middle of the night on a backcountry road.
I mean,
It is certainly
it's
not.
Arizona. Anyway, it's unclear how any human driver would have been able to see her in time to prevent this exact same thing from happening. Maybe they could have, maybe they couldn't. But the whole point of autonomous cars is that they can see more things and react more quickly than a human driver can, and should therefore be safer. They got fucking lasers in them. So it's understandable that Arizona's governor has ordered a halt to all Uber testing in his state, saying in a letter to Uber CEO that the crash was an unquestionable failure. Meanwhile, Uber has voluntarily stopped testing its autonomous cars in California, Pennsylvania, and Toronto, and overall the future of Uber's autonomous car project seems very unclear.
Now finally, if you're into both cryptocurrency and fine art, artist Andy Bach has a gallery show coming up here in LA featuring his latest abstract pieces made out of Lego bricks. And each piece contains a hidden code, which leads to a crypto wallet that can be yours if you manage to be the first to decode them. The new show is called New Money, and he probably wish he had done it 3 or 4 months ago. But anyways, it's here. Each piece was created by inputting a crypto wallet key into various algorithms to generate a pixel pattern, which Bach tweaked the algorithms until the images it spit out actually looked okay as wall art. Now, during the show's debut on Friday, projectors will display each artwork's fluctuating Bitcoin to dollar value in real time. So get to work, code crackers.
Yeah, get that wallet before it's worthless.
Yeah.
It's a funny idea. Anyway, that's our show. Again, thank you to Google for sponsoring this episode. You looking to move to the cloud? Check out the Google Cloud Platform Weekly Podcast, where Google developer advocates answer questions, get in the weeds, and talk to experts, customers, and partners about GCP. Click the link down in the description or go to g.co/GCP podcast to learn more and subscribe to the podcast.
Check out new episodes of the Monday Morning Live Show where we answer your burning questions and talked about Stormy Daniels and a bunch of other stuff. Also, check out a brand new episode of Tugs where Far Cry 5 is anti-Trump propaganda. No, but watch it anyway.